Welcome to Item Breakdown, a series where I analyze every single item in Mario Maker 2, go over their properties, and find interesting ways to use them in our own levels. This video is all about the Super Mushroom. The Super Mushroom is an item type asset available in every game style. A Super Mushroom moves right until it hits a solid obstacle, at which point it changes direction. In the 3D World game style, it also has collision with other items and enemies. If Mario collects a Super Mushroom, he will transform into Super Mario. Super Mario is 2 tiles tall and is now able to break blocks with his head. In the Super Mario World game style, he's able to destroy blocks by spin jumping on them. And in the new Super Mario Bros. U and 3D World game styles, he is also able to destroy blocks by ground pounding on them. In all styles, taking damage as Super Mario will revert him back to Mario. A Super Mushroom can be destroyed only by being crushed. A Super Mushroom has one variant and 2 modifications. Its variant, the Master Sword, is exclusive to the Super Mario Bros. Game style, and is covered in a separate video due to it being almost completely distinct from the Super Mushroom. Its 2 modifications are a Winged Super Mushroom and a Parachuting Super Mushroom. A Winged Super Mushroom moves left, rising and falling 1 tile off of its horizontal axis as it moves. In the 3D World game style, it can travel through solid objects, unlike most other winged objects. A Parachuting Super Mushroom descends slowly towards the bottom of the screen, and resumes its basic behavior when it lands. If a Super Mushroom is both winged and parachuting, it descends slowly towards the bottom of the screen, but does not resume basic behavior when it lands, now moving to the right instead of the left. A Super Mushroom can be placed inside blocks, bullet bill blasters, and pipes. When emerging from a block, it will always move to the right, except when it doesn't while playing in local multiplayer. When placed in a bullet bill blaster, it is launched 2 tiles forward, or about 7 tiles from a red bullet bill blaster. The blaster will not lob a second one until the first is no longer loaded. A Super Mushroom in a pipe will emerge from the pipe and travel right, unless the pipe is facing to the left. The pipe will also not produce another until the first is no longer loaded. A Super Mushroom can enter horizontally facing clear pipes. A Super Mushroom in a Koopa Clown Car will pilot the vehicle towards Mario, and one in a Lakitus Cloud will pilot the vehicle on a horizontal plane. It is able to be placed inside, as well as grabbed by a swinging claw. A Super Mushroom can also be placed on a track, moving at a medium speed, or a fast speed if winged. A Super Mushroom can be grabbed by Yoshi's tongue. Once spit up, it will move in the direction that Yoshi spit it. A Super Mushroom falls and moves much slower in liquids, and is not destroyed by either lava or poison. In the Night Ground theme, a Super Mushroom will quickly hop away from Mario's current position. In the Night Airship and Sky themes, a Super Mushroom is affected by low gravity. A Super Mushroom is also part of a clear condition, requiring the player to reach the goal as Super Mario. So, now that we know how it works, how do we work with it? The Mushroom. One of the classic power-ups from the Super Mario Bros. Series that has found its way into virtually every Mario game to date. While it might not be as flashy as, say, the Master Sword, its simplicity is incredibly powerful. Mushroom make Mario big, big Mario break blocks. While Mario makers have certainly found much more unique uses for it, let's start small and honor the simplicity of this classic cap. The Super Mushroom is a traditional level creator's best friend, and it's no wonder since it appears within the first screen of the first Super Mario level ever. Since it's pretty obvious why the Super Mushroom fits naturally in traditional style courses, let's instead talk about some best practices. For one, don't give out your mushrooms for free. People will pay a high price just for a taste of this super stinkhorn. Instead, treat this power-up as something to be earned and require the player to either complete a challenge to obtain it, or continue on without it. Second, don't overwhelm the player with too many mushrooms. This removes all tension from any challenge you may present, as the player might catch on that another power-up is waiting for them right around the corner. You know what? let's take it a step forward. Lastly, I suggest not placing a single super mushroom in your traditional course. Few things are as frustrating as managing to keep your super mushroom through a good portion of a traditional level, only to hit a question mark block containing another, redundant mushroom. If you never intend to use any other power-up other than the mushroom, I guess you can ignore this. But if you plan on giving the player a fire flower, super leaf, or whatever else it may be, turn all of your power-ups in your course into progressive power-ups. This will be covered more in depth in other videos, but a progressive power-up will spawn as a super mushroom, unless the player already has a power-up in their possession. By doing this, you'll reward players who manage to maintain their Super Mario status, and ensure that each power-up provided will have purpose. Speaking of giving power-ups purpose, let's talk about puzzles. Great puzzles can be designed around the super mushroom, whether that's figuring out how to obtain one, or how to use it to your advantage. In this example, the player must reach the goal as Super Mario. Seems simple enough, right? However, by using Yoshi to collect this mushroom, Mario is now too thick to get past this barrier. So the player must figure out how to get Yoshi to the other side in order to collect the super mushroom there. This puzzle is pretty basic, however you can always string multiple problems and solutions together in order to make it more complex. The super mushroom doesn't always have to be the final solution either. It could just be a minor step in the process of a much larger solution. Typically, most Kaizo levels don't feature any power-ups for the player. However, there are definitely cases where the mushroom can proliferate the challenge. This could be by requiring the player to keep their super mushroom all the way to the end of a section, or giving them a temporary toadstool they must take advantage of in the moment. In general, adding power-ups to Kaizo and speedrunning stages will always diversify the gameplay, but creators must take extra precautions in order to prevent players from cheesing some of their sections. Last but not least, let's talk about the super mushroom in troll levels. Whether you use it to bait the player into grabbing it, or to taunt the player for missing it, it can certainly create some fun moments when used sporadically. In my troll level, for instance, the player needs to be Super Mario here in order to break through these blocks. Their first instinct might be to hit this question mark block and collect the mushroom, only to find out that there isn't enough time to make it through these icicles. So, on their second attempt, they might run through this section and hit the question mark block on their way, only to watch their fungy friend fall right into this pit. Of course, the real solution is to simply ignore the question mark block altogether and run directly through this section, at which point a falling icicle will release the super mushroom for them. And that's just the stalk of this fantastic fungus. If you're looking for more inspiration, check out another one of these item breakdowns. A huge thank you to all of my patrons and YouTube members for making this series possible, and I'll see you in the next one.